After getting asked the same questions over and over and over every day live on YouTube when I'm day trading, I'm gonna make this video right here to give you A to Z answer for every question that you could possibly have when it comes to watching me day trading live on YouTube. Gonna break it all down right here in this video. The old saying, there are no dumb questions. Well, there actually are. Breaking it down. What's going on, guys? Patrick here. Today we're going to be talking about the top questions that I get every day on YouTube when I'm live day trading. I get the same questions over and over. So let's go ahead and answer all those common questions right here. The first question, and probably the most common question that I get, is what broker do I use for trading? I'm using Topstep's platform, Topstep Trader, which is very similar to Tradevate. It is basically Tradevate, but Topstep has rebranded it as the Topstep Trader. I'm using the 1,000 tick chart time frame or the 2,000 tick chart time frame when I'm trading on this platform right here behind me. The big difference between a tick chart and a normal time chart is that a tick chart is only going to create a candle or create the actual price action that you see behind us because of actual transactions that are happening in the market. It's not based on time. So these candles right here can be open for 20, 30 minutes, depending on the amount of transactions that are going through in the market. That is not based on time. There's more videos on my channel to learn more about the difference between tick charts and time-based charts. The next very common question is, what is this thing behind me right here? What is this bubble? I use the Bookmap to see the liquidity in the market. It's basically displaying where the buyers and the sellers are based on the price action. And you can see how the market moves through these areas of liquidity. There's a bunch of videos on my channel, but I'm using the Bookmap Global Plus subscription for getting the data here on the NASDAQ or on the ES, depending on futures that you're trading. So I'm using rhythmic data through Bookmap with the Global Plus subscription. The next very common question that I get every day basically is, what charts do I use and what indicators do I use here? Right here, this is the 1 minute chart. So a lot of times I'm looking at the 1 minute chart or the 3 minute chart when it comes to finding my entries and things like that. So the 3 minute, the 1 minute chart, that's what I'm kind of looking for, setups for breakouts, for things to happen. You know, I'm kind of focused on those smaller time frames. Once I see a setup on the bigger time frame, like the 15-minute chart, once I see the 15-minute chart setting up, I would then look at the 1 minute chart or the 3 minute chart to kind of really pinpoint my entry, and then we'll swap over to the Topstep Trader platform to really get ready to enter a trade or exit a trade based on the price action. Another common question that I get, what's the market flow trader community? Is the market flow trader community giving signals on when to buy and sell? What the market flow trader community is exactly what it sounds like. It's a community where people can talk about different trades, the actions. We've got the course, we've got all this stuff set up there. You can learn everything that I've been talking about here in the video already. You can go through like everything, breaking down top to bottom. I talk about setting up the Bookmap, talk about chart setup, I talk about my setups, and then I talk about kind of the mindset and all of that stuff. There's a bunch of different videos. We got like all from the beginning to the end. If you're a beginner trader, there's a lot of great stuff talking about candlesticks, talking about the volume, talking about your entry, talking about risk rewards, setting all of those things up and going through it. We've also got the new momentum mindset course as well. So a lot of really cool stuff going on, and you can check out the videos here with our new mindset coach, Taylor. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Market Flow Trader community. If you guys want to learn more, you can see there's a link down below. We talk about the trades, kind of going through and critiquing some of the trades that the traders are posting up, and everybody's just posting you know, information of what they're going through and learning, and the chat and all the fun stuff. Another really common question that I get is trading the NASDAQ versus the ES when it comes to futures. This really comes down to your overall personal preference, your strategy. For me personally, I've been trading the ES for the last like 6-7 months, just only the ES, the S&P 500, focused on just one instrument. I might start trading the NASDAQ a little bit more, going back and forth, but in general, I like to focus on that one instrument. Is there an advantage to trading the ES over the NASDAQ? I mean, who really knows? It again, it comes down to personal preference. I do think that the NASDAQ will move a little bit more aggressively. You'll get bigger, kind of quicker moves in the NASDAQ compared to the ES. There's more liquidity on the ES, so the moves aren't as like just out of nowhere, just big moves up and down, like, you know, really quickly move, like very violent. That's maybe the price action on the NASDAQ's violent compared to the ES, which is more of like a ballet, very smooth and graceful and moving price action with the ES compared to the NASDAQ. How do I get the pivot points? If you want to add pivot points to your charts, you just go on TradingView, you type in PIVOTS, pivot points standard. So I'm using the pivot point standard as the pivot points. This is a free indicator on TradingView. You don't have to pay for this. It's simply just boom right there. You click on it. I like to modify it and change the colors a little bit with the actual lines. That's why you see the white lines behind me there on the pivots. But right now, this is the 15-minute chart. So basically everything below 15 minutes is gonna have the same pivot. So if you go to the 1-minute chart, those pivots will be at the same place as the 15-minute chart. Now, if we go and we look at the hourly chart will have different pivot points because of the calculations to create those pivot points. It's going to be looking at different data sets on the hourly chart compared to the 15-minute chart or lower. But normally what I like to focus on is the 15-minute time frames, because we're trading, you know, in between, you know, 15 minutes. I would say most of my trades don't last more than 15 minutes. So I like to focus on the 15-minute time frame for the pivot points there. But also keep in mind, I like to know where those hourly pivot points are as well, because we can also go to the daily chart. You know, see on the daily chart, again, different pivots on the daily chart compared to the hourly chart and then to the 15-minute chart. So I like to have multiple charts pulled up and kind of looking at those pivots on different time frames in case we do get really close to like an hourly pivot or maybe a daily pivot and things like that. So the pivot points, it's free, it's simple, just add it to your chart. You don't need to pay for anything there on TradingView. Also, I feel like I get this question a lot. How do you get future data on TradingView? Do you need to pay for it? You need to pay for live futures data on TradingView. So if you're looking at TradingView and you have a different price on your chart for the ES or for the NASDAQ, well, it's gonna be different because of the delay in the time. For the NASDAQ, if you want to find the symbol, it's just NQ1, or you can just basically type in NQ right there. It'll come up as the E-mini NASDAQ futures, and it'll be the most recent or the most popular contract at that time. For the ES, for the S&P 500, you're going to just type in ES there on TradingView to pull up that chart for the ES versus the NASDAQ there. Another really interesting question that people ask is, how much money do you need to start trading futures? To start trading futures with most brokers, most futures brokers that are specially focused on futures, most of the time they will allow you to trade the micros for less than $50 per micro. So it costs $50 in terms of margin to be able to buy and sell that contract. Obviously, if the price goes up and down, you need to have more money in your account, but you need to have a minimum of $50 per contract for the micros that you're buying or selling. For the minis, the ES minis are going to be $500 per contract, and you'll need margin, that $500 in margin. So let's say you want to buy 5 contracts and you have $10,000 in your account. That would make $5,000 of that $10,000 part of the margin requirement to buy and sell those contracts. Also, another question that people ask is, can you lose all the money in your account and then owe the broker? Most brokers will shut you off, they'll cut you off, they'll liquidate your account before you go into the red. Now, if there's news or something crazy happening and the market really gets volatile, you could lose more and then you could owe your broker, but most brokers will limit your risk and end up liquidating you before you end up losing more money than what's in your account. I would say it's very rare that you're gonna lose more than what's in your account because most brokers will liquidate you right away, but it does happen. So you obviously wanna keep that in mind. There's a reason that we use stops and take profit targets and all those things when we're entering trades. Every trade that I enter, I'm entering with a bracket order, right? A bracket order to put my stop, to put my take a profit instantly on the chart. So even if I lose Wi-Fi or the power goes out, at least I will have my stop automatically there in the trade already protecting me from making sure that I can't lose everything in my account. Brings me to my next favorite question. How do I set up a bracket order with Topstep? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna click on this little feature, this little cog thing, and it's gonna pull up the ATM settings. And I'm gonna show the value in the dollar value, and I'm gonna put the type for take profit and stop loss. You can set it to only stop loss or take profit, but I'm gonna set it to take profit and stop loss. My take profit is $600, my stop loss is $250, and my stop loss type is stop right there. So that's how you set up a bracket order on the Topstep Trader or the Trade-of-8 platform. And then when I go to buy or sell, it'll automatically put my stop, it'll automatically put my target. So if I put like my order right here, you can see like basically right now the market's closed, but if I put an order, it'll show me where my take profit is, it'll show me where my stop loss is right there. So like 13,200 would be my take profit there, and that's how you set up a bracket order with Trade-of-8. What are my VWAP settings? What VWAP settings do you use, Patrick, for the VWAP? For the VWAP, I'm simply using the basic settings. I go to here, the VWAP, you can add it on the chart with TradingView. Everything very simple. What I have done is I've added the bands multipliers there, and I've taken away the fill. So that way we don't have the fill back there, but I can still have the band multiplier, which is basically the price action away from the VWAP. We're like double the VWAP at that point, this point away from the VWAP, if that makes sense. So it's like the deviation away from the VWAP, which you can see the price action does like to kind of bounce around at those bands and kind of follow where the VWAP is. So the VWAP for me, very simple. I don't change anything. I keep it just like it is, and I add the bands multipliers. My MACD settings. What are my MACD settings? Again, I really don't change much when it comes to the MACD. I just change the colors of the actual MACD and the signal line. So the signal line for me is going to be yellow, and then the actual MACD color is red there. But again, very simple, not really changing anything here. And it's all just set up right there on the chart for the 3-minute chart. And that'll be the same for the 1-minute chart as well. So the MACD, pretty much right out of the box, the same settings. I don't change much there, and it's all there on the chart. So on the chart here, I have the MACD, I have the VWAP, I have the 21 EMA, that blue line right there, 21 EMA, same thing. I changed the color to blue, but everything is pretty much the VWAP, the 21, and the MACD. And then we have the Lux Algo trend lines with breaks as well on there. So that's pretty much my 3-minute setup. And then it's the same for the 1-minute setup. And that's pretty much what we're looking for on the chart in terms of indicators. Those are the indicators that I see value in. And those are the indicators that we kind of focus on every day here in the live streams. And then just some really common questions. Is it possible to get rich day trading? You know, that's really subjective. It comes down to like how much money are you thinking is like actually rich? Is it possible to be consistent? Yes, it's very possible. You have to follow the rules. You have to follow the strategy. You have to understand that this is a business. This is not gambling. So that's the big thing with trading. It's basically getting rid of that gambling aspect, that need to like want to make money, but getting to a point where you're like, hey, I'm focused on following the plan. I'm focused on being disciplined. And that's the big goal for me personally, and hopefully for you guys as well. If you're watching this video, you're trying to get to that point where you're disciplined and you want to learn more. Make sure you tune in 9:15 a.m. live right here on YouTube every day. We're trading the markets. We're going through all that fun stuff. So if you haven't already tuned in, you're missing out on all the fun. I'll see you guys live right here on YouTube. Peace to the Middle East.